Hey YouTube, I'm happy to see you guys for another video. We have Belly here as a canvas and we are doing these heart inspired makeup looks. I got the inspiration from a Instagrammer called Melizajg. I don't know how to pronounce that, if there is any pronunciation for that. But I did see a look that kind of looks similar to this and I wanted to try it out and, give the look a go. So we're doing the eyebrows first. I am taking my Got To Be Glued on a spoolie and I am brushing her eyebrows up just to make it more easier to push her eyebrows flat. Belly likes her eyebrows to be nice and flat and kind of like a laminated look. So that's what we're going to go for. And I'm just shaping out the bottom and the top. And then kind of when I get the shape that I want, I'll start pressing things down. And then once I press it down, I'll go back over the top just to bring the hairs back together. And then once I am done applying the glue to make sure that everything is nice and flat, I am taking a makeup wipe and I am taking off the excess glue. This is important, y'all, because if y'all keep the glue on your skin, the powder, when it's time to put powder on, you are going to tell that there is a spot of glue under your foundation. That happens with wigs as well. If you're doing your hair with any type of glue as well, you will see that on your forehead, on your skin. So make sure you're taking that off with a makeup wipe. Alcohol, 99% alcohol takes off wig glue. So that is very important to make sure you do. And then we're going to fill in the eyebrows. I am taking my CynfulAllure eyebrow pencil in ash brown and I'm just going to fill her eyebrows in a little bit more than I usually do. I want them to pop a little bit more. The makeup look that we're doing is pretty dramatic, so I kind of don't want to lose her eyebrows in all of this. Alright, so now that everything is filled in, I'm going to go in with my concealer brush and my Born This Way Too Faced concealer in natural beige. Yep, natural beige. And I am carving the eyebrows out with it and I am going slowly. I think this is the perfect client to show you guys that I really do my eyebrows slowly and I do them I don't do them in one swipe. I sketch the eyebrows on just to make sure that I am doing it correct the first time. I'd rather be doing eyebrows for 15 minutes than make a mistake and have to redo them over again. So I'm going to start from the bottom. I really like to start from the bottom because it kind of shows the level of the brows. Once I carve out the bottom of the other brow, I can actually see where they're sitting. Is one sitting a little bit lower than the other? Is one a little bit higher than the other? A little bit more arched than the other? You can really see that once you've kind of straightened out the bottom and you have the top to play with. And then before moving on to the next eye, I'm just going to blend out the concealer on the eye just to make sure that it doesn't dry up and, create patchiness when it is time to move on. So now that I've finished carving the bottom of the brows, I am going in with some white concealer. This one is Marshmallow. It looks more white on her skin tone. It is a pinky concealer, but it is very pale. So it is a good concealer to use when I am adding colors. I could have used my Milk Jumbo eye pencil, but that everywhere can get messy. So I really like sticking with my concealer, and then if I need any other brightening or anything like that, I'll go in with the Milk Jumbo pencil from NYX to do that. But for a good base on the eyes to make sure everything is stuck on there and nice and bright, I'm just going to take a very pale concealer and add it on her lids. And I'm taking a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and it doesn't look like a fluffy eyeshadow brush. This is a sample that I got, and I just wanted to see how those brushes were, and they weren't really good at all, but I was like, dang, I kind of waste my money on these brushes. Let me see how some of them can work. So if you ever see these black and rose gold ferrule, that's really where those brushes came from, and it's not really intended for concealer, but they work really well for concealer. I like how small they are for that area, but they're really not the best brushes. I'm just using it and found a way to use this brush. And then once we're done applying concealer on the lids, we'll start sketching out the hearts. Now, sketching out these hearts were so hard. I am not a drawer, or I don't draw, and I really just do makeup. Everybody asks me, like, do you love painting and drawing? Well, I used to like coloring. That's really what I tell everybody, but actually drawing is difficult, and that was really hard for me. What worked on this side of the heart is that the eye area around the tear duct has a dent in it. So on your nose, your tear duct area and your inner corner of your eye has this dent. So that was easy to draw this circular line that's here. But when it got time to go for the lid, that's where it got a little difficult. Right here, I'm just adding a little concealer under here so that all the eyeshadows pop like the lids. You'll see me doing that throughout this, adding concealer, because I am drawing this look on top of I'm doing the look before I do the face. I want to make sure that the concealer is kind of layered and everything kind of looks seamless when it's time to put the foundation and everything on. So yeah, now that it's time to add the other side of the heart, just like when you're doing a cut crease, when you open up your eyes, you want to make sure that the cut crease is higher than your crease, so that you don't get any creasing on your lid and mess up your work. So that's kind of like what happened here. Like, I'm trying to make the heart even, and I made the heart too small, because when she opens up her eyes, it's going to eventually crease. You'll see me in a minute kind of like opening up her eyes once I put the red and stuff on. But I'm kind of just like drawing this heart right now. I'm realizing that it is small, but I'm still just drawing the heart, trying to get that basic shape down. Because yeah, girl, I am not an artist in the sketching, drawing pictures department. Like, I like to blend eyeshadows and put eyeshadows together. It's hard to make these pictures. So yeah, you'll see me here sketching away. And then I am taking a red lipstick that I have. This is that Dior lipstick I got as a sample for my birthday like 2 years ago. And I'm just using this as eyeshadow base because it's so matte, but it's also creamy and it's not going to create like too much shininess. So we're just going to go ahead and use that and trace out the heart that we made, and then kind of blend the edges out to make it soft. Like, I'm going to pat I'm gonna pat the base down just to get blended edges so that they're easier to like blend out. And I'm doing it slowly again, because if you go fast, you're gonna move everything around and it's not gonna be as sharp and clean. I'm not worrying too much about the inside of the heart at this moment, because we're going to go back in with concealer, clean it up. Like, it's going to be a whole process for the middle of that heart. So I'm not too concerned about the middle. It's more of the outside of the heart. I want to bring the red base up a little bit more, making the heart a little bigger. So once we do go in with the concealer, I don't cut the entire heart off. And then I'm taking this small shader brush and I am going over these edges on the outside, making sure that they are nice and blended, because you do not want a wet base to be harsh, because once you put your eyeshadow on, that's kind of like it for that section. Like, it's going to be set very harshly. So I want to make sure that all these lines on the outside are pretty blended, even though I am going to cut a lot of this heart off to figure out what size it really needs to be. I still want to make sure the edges are blended, just so the heart that is remaining after that there's no issues going around it with any of the reds and pinks that we use. Now I'm taking a small blending brush and I am using the shade now I'm going to take some of MAC's Newsflash, which is this bright red eyeshadow, on my Morphe miniature blending brush and add that on the outside of the heart. I want the red to look like it's like a halo around it. So I'm just going to pat that in. I'm noticing when I am doing like little circular motions, the circular motions are a little too much. So I'm going to be using a lot of patting motions to get these eyeshadows to blend. Okay, here I think I'm at a great point where I can carve out the heart without taking too much of it off. So I'm taking my smallest round concealer brush that I have and I am patting across the edges. That's the best way that I can get straight lines, is patting across. Now that I got some concealer on there shaping the heart, I'm gonna have her move her eyes around, move it around, see where it is creasing, and then I'm gonna take a eyeshadow brush, kind of flatten out the concealer, see where the mistakes are happening when she opens up her lids, and then I'm gonna start carving around that and making the sides of the hearts around the crease. So you'll see me doing that here. I mentioned a small round concealer brush because of the round edges on the concealer brush. It was a little bit easier to make the little circles around the heart. And now that we have that basically size, we can see how much bigger the other side needs to be. So I'm just fixing up a little bit of nicks and touches here, and then I'm going to start on the other side of the eye and open up that side of the heart. And now that this side is done, I am going back in with a little bit of that lipstick and I am going over the edges, making sure that it's nice and sharp. I am gonna go in and clean up the inside of the heart and prepare it for some very light pink. But for the edges right now, I want the edges to be as sharp as possible. And the cleaner you are, I notice, the cleaner you are with your application, the more sharper, the more pretty it comes out. So that's why you see me taking my time, because I don't want my heart edges to look too soft and not sharp the way I want them to look. So I am going to take every step that I can to make sure that this look comes out nice and crispy. So I am taking a really small pencil brush with some of that red lipstick from Dior, and I'm going over the edges. And having to do that in the beginning is making it a lot more easier for me right now. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the blending process of blending this red on top of the reds before is just coming on really nice. Like, they're nice and bright, very pigmented, and that's the reason why I take the little steps that I do. I want to make sure that the colors come out right. And I am taking a Morphe small shader brush and I'm adding that on top of the lipstick. This is Newsflash from MAC. And like I've been doing before, I am going to pat it around the edges. I'm going to have most of the pressure at the tip of the brush so that it creates these really sharp lines that we are getting. And I'm going to do this all the way around the heart. Now I'm taking this Morphe M562 brush and I'm using the shade Pep Talk from the BPerfect Carnival palette. It's the extra large Pro palette, and I'm applying this all around the heart. I really like this little blending brush because it is elongated and the tip of it is very fluffy. So if I add a little bit of eyeshadow to this brush, it will spread nicely in a small area. It is a little difficult to work with because it is elongated, but once you get the hang of it, you'll end up liking it. Once we finish blending that pink, we'll go in with Newsflash from MAC on my small shader brush, and I'll deepen up that red a little bit more. And then I'm going to take a makeup wipe and wipe a little bit off from under her eye. I didn't like how I ended it, so I'm just going to clean it up a bit with a tiny bit of concealer. And then once I've blended everything out, I am going in with some black on a really small eyeliner brush, and I am tracing out the edges. I want it to give it like a poppy, like I want it to everything to really pop. So I'm adding black all around it. And then once I've finished applying, sorry guys, I don't know if you hear some machinery outside, but I think my neighbor's doing something to their house. So if y'all hear that in the back, I apologize, but I am adding Newsflash with a pencil brush on top of this black. I'm going to start blending everything out now. Everything's gonna really start looking deep and dimensional, especially now that we have the black on there. And I'm going to do this all the way around the heart, making sure that this red is nice and popping and the black is not just a really stark line of black. It's blended on the edges. Then for my Jovial Place Douce palette, I am taking the shade Creme from there and adding that to the edges of Pep Talk because I wanted to give it a lighter pink look. And then I am cleaning up the inside of the heart. Now we are going to prepare for a nice bright lid. So I like to take some micellar water, put it on a Q-tip, clean the edges and everything out of the inside of the heart. And then I am going to take my Milk Jumbo pencil in white on a concealer brush. This is the same concealer brush. It's not the same one that I was putting the concealer on with, but it's a different one, but the same brand, same type. And I am going to carve the inside out with that pencil. Then I'll go in with a fluffy eyeshadow brush and even out the NYX Jumbo pencil in Milk. This pencil is a pretty waxy pencil, so it can get a little uneven. So I want to make sure it's nice and even before adding on this really pastel pink. I am using Lorac Pro's pastel palette in the shade Jelly Donut from this palette, and I am going to pack it on the lid. And the best way I get the most even coverage packing this on is kind of like, first I'm going around the edges to make sure everything is really sharp on the edges and I am patting it down. But also when I dip my brush inside of my palette, I am making sure that the entire flat side of the brush is completely covered with eyeshadow. I do like 1 to 2 taps just to get some of this fallout to not like ruin my makeup look. And I will just pat it completely down until I see that it's kind of like settled into the base at the bottom, and then I'll go over it until it's nice and bright and pink. And then I am taking a pencil brush to clean up the fallout that fell on the inside of the eye, and then I am taking a little bit of Pep Talk and I'm cleaning the fallout from this side of the eye. Then on a big fluffy blending brush, I am taking Jelly Donut from that Lorac Pro Pastels palette, and I'm adding this all over the lid so that it has like this little pink background. When I noticed when the girl did the 2 hearts on her eyes, the background of the eyes were pink, and I was like, wow, that's really a cute touch. So I wanted to add the pink in the background. And then I'm going to draw the heart on the outer corner, and I am starting where her outer corner really like starts, and I am creating a V first so that I kind of get the gist of where I'm going to apply the heart. And I'm just going to sketch my way across. If I make any mistakes, it wouldn't be too hard to clean up, which I'll show you in a minute, because I do make a mistake right here on this edge. And before I get any further, I am taking Too Faced Born This Way concealer in light beige, and I am adding this under her eyes. This is the shade that I use as her highlight color, and I don't want there to be too much of a difference, and you can tell that I did the eyes first and then the face afterwards. So I want to kind of like layer up before, you know, starting this process. So I did put the concealer down first, and I am going to create the tail of the heart on her cheek. And then the same process that I did for the first heart, I am going to do for the last 3 hearts. I am going to take the Dior red lipstick, and I'm going to trace out the heart that we carved out with the gray eyeshadow, and making sure the edges are blended so that once we put the eyeshadow on top, it just gives us a really opaque red with soft edges. Now I'm taking MAC's Newsflash, and I'm adding that on top of the Dior red lipstick. And then I am going to carve out this heart. I really didn't like how that heart was curving. It was giving more of a straight line instead of a curve. So I am taking a little bit of my marshmallow concealer, and I am kind of like erasing that part away. And then I'm going to sketch the line back in where I want it to be. And then once I do that, I'll go back in and finish cutting the heart out. And just like the first time, we are going back in with that red eyeshadow, and we're going over the edges, making the spread come out a little bit further. Here I felt like the heart didn't have any shape to it, so I'm giving it a little shape. And I'm taking that pink shade from the Carnival 3 palette. I am adding that onto the edge of the red, and I am just blending it all out. And before I add the black, I'm just going to clean the inside of the heart a little bit, straighten up the edges a bit so I can trace it all out. And then I am going to take the black and run that around the edge. Then with a small pencil brush, I am taking some red and I am running that along the black edge so that I can buff that out. And then once I finish with the red, I'll start adding the pink. And then I'm taking a small blending brush and I am adding some more of Jelly Donut in between the two hearts. I did clean up in here, so I just want to make sure that I set it down and everything is nice and pink. And I'm also going to do the same for around the eye as well. I just want to intensify Jelly Donut, make it pop a little bit more. And then I'm going to clean up inside of the heart with some micellar water like I did the first one, just to make sure that once I do put my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk under there, it's not going to mix with any of the black, pink, or red and give me a different base color. Unfortunately, my memory card ran out of memory and I didn't notice that my camera stopped recording until I finished putting on the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. I'm sorry about that, but it will be the same process. So I'm adding the Jelly Donut right on top of the NYX Jumbo Pencil and I'm making sure that I am tapping on those edges, making sure they are nice and crisp. And then after that, I'm just going to go around the edges and clean up fallout and bring the eyeshadow back up to where I want it to be. Now for the little details of the heart, I am taking some of my Kat Von D graphic liner in black. And I am kind of like extending the inside of the hearts. This heart, I can genuinely say I messed up because once I did the other heart and realized how to do it, it looks so cute. And I kind of like messed up the evenness between the two curves in my first heart with that. But it still looked really cute. I really like how the black eyeliner made them pop a little bit more. And then I'm adding this pink eyeliner to her waterline. Then I'm taking Too Faced Born This Way concealer in light beige and I'm prepping under the eye for some eyeshadow, and I'm also making sure that it is blended for when we add the creams on top of this, like the foundation, contours, and blushes. It's not going to cake up or anything. Once we do that, I'm taking Douce Flash from MAC and I'm applying it with the same small shader brush that I've been using, and I'm smudging that under her eyes. And then once I've smudged the red under her eyes, I'll go in with Pep Talk, which is from the BPerfect Carnival 3 palette, and I'll smudge that right under there just to blend that out a little bit, give it that red and pink effect. And then once I add all of that on there, I will go in with a smaller pencil brush, and I'm going to mix that with the red and the black, and just to get this like dark burgundy shade. And I'm gonna only put that like on her outer corner so that it gives some depth in her outer corner and brings out her shape a little more. And then once we've added the details on there, I'm going to apply the lashes. I am using CynfulAllure lash glue, which is the best lash glue, and also our bestseller lashes, Beware. I felt like these were perfect for the look. They had enough dramatic to bring her eyes out a little more, but not cover the entire look. Alright guys, so once we're done with the eyes, we're going to go to the face, and I am taking my black opal foundation stick in hazelnut, and I'm adding that to her cheeks, on the side of her temples, and in the middle of her nose as well to contour and bronze. And then I'm taking Too Faced Born This Way concealer in light beige, and I'm adding this under her eyes. And this is the real reason why I was adding these light layers of concealer under her eyes earlier, is so that I can kind of stay away from the makeup look that we did on her eyes and not ruin anything. I am very clumsy, so I try my best to make sure that the end result is clean. And then once we've added everything on the face, we'll just blend it all away, make sure everything is nice and soft and seamless. I did speed up this entire process because I don't do anything different than what I do on the norm for belly. If you guys do want like a detailed video of foundation, how to apply foundation, then let me know. I can do a video on that for you, but this video is already 32 minutes long, and you can go to any one of my videos that have belly in it, and this will be the same process that I do. Alright, once we're done blending in the face, we'll go ahead and carve out the eyebrows and blend that out. And once I'm done blending that out, I'll start setting the face with some powder. I like using the Huda Beauty baking powders, and I'm using pound cake under the eyes and banana bread around the face. Now that the face is set and nothing is going to move, I am going to add some blush now. I wanted a nice pretty pink blush, so I'm using my CynfulAllure Cherry Blossom blush. It's such a pretty pink, and I think it is perfect for this look. And then once I add some blush on, I am going to add some mascara. We can't forget to make sure that those lashes are blended. So we are going to add it to the top and bottom. I'm using the Essence waterproof mascara. This is like their regular one, but it is bomb, y'all. And if you could order it online, I would rather order it online because it is hard finding this in person. But it is like, for two of them, I believe it's like $6, and I think that's why they're selling out so fast, because they're good and affordable. When I get them, I get like 4 at a time because nobody has time to be looking around the store when there is none. So once we are done doing the top lashes, we are doing the bottom lashes, and I am trying to train myself to comb the lashes out instead of doing this like little shake right here. I've been shaking my mascara comb in the bottom lashes for like as long as I know, and it works, it's effective. But if you try combing out your lashes with the mascara wand, you'll love the effect. It looks so pretty. It's just they're separated very nicely when they're combed out rather than having it jiggled in there. And then we are going to add some diamonds. I'm using my CynfulAllure lash glue to apply the diamonds, and I'm using some pink diamonds I got off of Amazon, and they're like a medium-sized diamond, and I'm just placing 3 of them in like this little empty space area up here. And then once we are done with those details, we'll start adding some lips. And I'm using my CynfulAllure lip liner in coconut. And first, I am going to like line her lips. Belly likes her lips to be overlined, but at first I like to get the gist of where her lips is. Even though I fill her lips in all the time, I do this to everybody. I want to make sure that, you know, your lips look nice. I will carve out your own lips first, and then I will start building up your cupid's bow and bringing that down, and then seeing how the lip looks. I keep going, like if your lip looks good with a wider lip, I'll go ahead and widen it out a little bit. If it looks good with just the top and the sides bigger, I'll do that. You know, I don't want you guys to go out there and look like your lips are way too overlined and we all can tell. We want them to look like they just got done. They're beautiful. So that's what I am doing here. So I'm just assessing where to put everything at and filling that up. And I do that by tracing out the lines first, and then I kind of fill in the corners as well, because when we put the lip gloss on, the lip gloss I'm using is going to be the CynfulAllure Gotta Light, which is the lightest shade. But if you use a darker lip liner and blend that in with that lighter shade, it'll give you that perfect ombre effect. So I'm making sure that the lip liner is also dark around the lips, and I am bringing it up a little bit as well. That's also going to help with the effect of the big lips. Now we are adding the lip gloss. This is the CynfulAllure Gotta Light lip gloss, and as you guys can see, it is very light, and this is one dip. Okay, you don't need no more than one dip to do this whole entire lip. So right here, I pretty much blended it into the lip liner as much as I can, and it kind of softened my lip liner a bit. So I want to go over the edges with coconut, the lip liner, and make sure I bring the edges back out because she likes that. And then once I am done with the lips, I am going to pat all of that translucent powder into the skin. About time we're done with the face. As you guys can see, all that powder really melted into her skin, and it's going to help her makeup stay as long as possible, even though she doesn't need it at this very moment. She doesn't need it this powerful at this very moment. It's going to be very difficult to take it off. But if she was going somewhere, this would last her all night long. And once we are done with this powder, I want to add some highlight. It's called NYXcosmetics. I'm not sure if this company is even in business anymore. I will check, and if they are, I will leave it in the comments below. It is like a iridescent purple color, but you can also use iridescent eyeshadows, especially like loose pigments. Those work just the same as these. And I'm just adding this on all her highlight points, and her nose, her cheeks, and it's just gonna look super pretty against all of this pink. And once we add all the powders on, we're going to go ahead and set the face, dry it off, and the look is complete, you guys. I really had a lot of fun doing this look. I love how it came out. The hearts are absolutely so cute. Shout out to the makeup artist that originally did this look. I will link her in my description as well. Give her props because she really did that on this look. It looks super cute, and I had fun recreating it. If you guys did like this video, please make sure you like, comment down below. Also, let me know what you want to see next. Follow us on our social medias. I'll also put that down in the description down below. Make sure you put your notifications on so you are notified every time I post a new video. And until next time, guys, bye.